Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas and Turkish counterpart Erdogan met on Tuesday. The leaders discussed ways to stop Israeli aggression ahead of the Muslim holy month of Ramadan. In a joint presser in Ankara, President Abbas called Israel's actions a genocidal war. He also said that the two spoke about thwarting Israeli assault against Christian and Islamic holy sites in the Palestinian territory. Turkey continues to criticize Israel over its war on Gaza, while the country is also pressed for Tel Aviv to be tried for genocide in the World Court. Turkey is not directly involved in the truce talks. As truce talks continue to loom over the fate of Gazans, Hamas has put down some demands. The militant group has said that there will be no prisoner exchange until a ceasefire is announced. The statement came on Tuesday after truce negotiations between Hamas, Qatar and Egypt bore no fruit. The group pressed on the exit of Israeli troops from the Strip. It also maintained for displaced Palestinians to be allowed to return to their homes. The United Nations has been unable to deliver aid in Gaza since the 23rd of January. This has made the humanitarian crisis even more dire in the northern strip. The League of Arab Nations demanded for renewed UNRWA funding on Tuesday. It also said that Israel was undermining the United Nations Relief and Works Agency. The group intimated that by discrediting UNRWA, Israel was narrowing the scope of a two-state solution. On the other hand, Israel has discussed about 450 UNRWA workers of being military operators for Hamas. The relief works body has raised concerns over Israel's plan to exclude it from the post-war Gaza plan. There are over 13,500 UNRWA employees and volunteers in Gaza. They run schools, health clinics and other services apart from distributing aid in the Strip. Keeping on with efforts to send aid into Gaza, the United States will now use both military and commercial ways to provide critical supplies from sea routes. White House National Security spokesperson John Kirby said that maritime routes can move more volume of aid. Meanwhile, Washington is eyeing another border crossing into Gaza for trucks until a maritime route is identified. The statement comes as famine threats continue to loom over Gaza. The supplies, which were already skewed, have swindled further in the past month. Swathes of territories are cut off from food, and most hospitals are either fully flattened or barely functional. Hundreds of Israeli protesters took Tel Aviv and Jerusalem by storm on Tuesday. They staged demonstrations outside US missions, pressing President Joe Biden for a ceasefire. The protesters held signs that read, "Hostage deal now," and shouted slogans such as, "Biden, bring them home." The protest came as Hamas representatives remained in Cairo for 3 days over ceasefire talks that made no breakthroughs. The border tensions between Israel and Lebanon might be halted. The two sides are set to have indirect talks to address hostilities. On Tuesday, Lebanon's caretaker Prime Minister Najib Mikati said that the talks will begin during the Muslim holy month of Ramadan, which starts next week. Meanwhile, Lebanon is looking at a verbal proposal by the United States over the matter. The proposal talks about full implementation of the United Nations Security Council resolution. Previously, the resolution ended a month-long war between Israel and Lebanon in 2006. While Lebanon has said that they have questions over the proposal, they've also asked for Israel's take on it. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he will testify on corruption charges once the Gaza war ends. He's also asked the Jerusalem court to cut down the frequency of testimony hearings of 6 witnesses in the trial. A motion was filed in the court on the difficulty the lawyer was facing over regular consultations with the Prime Minister, who is preoccupied with the war exigencies. The corruption trial combines 3 separate cases known as Case 1000, 2000 and 4000. Of these, Case 4000 is the most serious against the Israeli Prime Minister. It centers on allegations that he advanced benefits to Wallah news site owner in exchange for positive coverage. Polls have now closed in Alaska, and with that, voting has now concluded for Super Tuesday. Projections show clear lead for both President Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Surprisingly, Trump's Republican rival, Nikki Haley, won Vermont primary. Nikki Haley picked up some delegates, but she remains far behind Trump. Projections show that Trump has emerged victorious in 15 states. This could mean a possible rematch between him and President Biden. Biden is believed to have won Democratic nominating contests in 14 states. According to exit polls, Biden is projected to lose the Democratic caucus in American Samoa. Democrat Jason Palmer, an entrepreneur, has so far won 4 delegates and Biden 2. Former President Donald Trump celebrated his Super Sunday dominance at his Mar-a-Lago residence. Trump slammed US President Joe Biden and his policies. However, the Republican frontrunner went a bit far with his criticism. As during his speech, he called the United States a third world country. Trump's address also reflected that illegal immigration still remains a key part of his campaign. Trump, while taking aim at Biden, raised doubts about election integrity. He also highlighted the foreign policy crises in Ukraine and Gaza.
Gdyby była taka potrzeba, to polscy żołnierze staną ramię w ramię z żołnierzami litewskimi do tego, by...
Poland president said that his country stands ready to defend NATO partners. The statement came on Tuesday as he observed NATO's biggest war game since the Cold War. The Prime Minister also said that the military exercise showed the NATO's readiness, including that of Lithuania, Poland and the Baltic nations. He extended support especially to Lithuania, saying that Poland's forces stand shoulder to shoulder with Lithuania. Over 90,000 troops participated in the Steadfast Defender exercises. It marked the muscle flex of the alliance's eastern flank. The exercise comes as NATO members are looking to increase defense spending over Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Australia and Laos signed a comprehensive partnership agreement earlier. The agreement comes amid the ongoing ASEAN-Australia Special Summit, which will conclude today. The agreement will focus on education, economics and trade, and climate and defense. The ASEAN-Australia Special Summit is being co-chaired by Australian and Laotian leaders. Australia is hosting the 3-day summit to mark 50 years since it became ASEAN's first external partner. France and Czech Republic signed an action plan for strategic partnership on Tuesday. French President Emmanuel Macron and Czech Prime Minister Petra Fiala reached the deal during a visit to Prague. Earlier, Macron also showed support for Czech's plans of buying ammunition from third countries. This ammunition is slated to be sent to the war-torn Ukraine. Additionally, it is also backed by Canada and Denmark. The World Court has issued arrest warrants against top Russian commanders. This over having committed war crimes in Ukraine. The court has named arrest against two commanders, Sergei Koblyazh and Viktor Sokolov, for destroying Ukraine's electric infrastructure. The International Court of Justice said that the attacks were carried from the 10th of October 2022 until at least 9th of March 2023. This is the second set of warrants released by the World Court against Russian officials. However, Moscow has denied ICJ's blames, calling them Western agenda. At least 35 people died while dozens were injured as torrential rain and snowfall hit northwestern Pakistan on Monday. Among the fatalities were 22 children. As per authorities, many people were crushed under landslides that flattened multiple homes. Most damage has been reported from the country's Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province. The extreme weather also hit the western provinces of the country, bringing road operations to a standstill. The country's Met Office has attributed this untimely snowfall to climate change. Additionally, in 2022, glacial melting in Pakistan killed at least 1,700 people and affected over 33 million others. The weather horrors washed away homes, livestock and crops in a damage that scaled up to $30 billion. The United Nations said on Tuesday that the escalating tensions in Haiti have made the humanitarian crisis more dire. Humanitarian groups have said that they are severely underfunded. UN spokesperson said that they have just received $17 million against a demand of $674 million. This comes after inmates escaped from the country's prisons and opened fire in the capital. It came when Haitian Prime Minister was in Kenya to ask for foreign troops against armed gangs. As per the United Nations, over 15,000 people have been displaced due to violence. The United Nations has given a nod to the deployment of an international mission to defend Haiti against armed groups. However, the date for the deployment has not been announced yet. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky is facing a challenging political landscape. This, as in a recent survey, polls have indicated that he wouldn't secure victory if elections weren't held now. According to the poll, Zelensky is trailing behind former General Valery Zaluzhny. Zaluzhny is projected to receive around 41% votes in the first round and a significant 67.5% in the runoff. In contrast, Zelensky's initial support is at 23.7%, reaching a maximum of 32.5% in the second round. In a hypothetical parliamentary scenario, Zaluzhny bloc is predicted to secure 46.4% of the seats, leaving Zelensky's party with only 21.1%. Despite the political landscape, over 65% of the respondents in the latest survey agree that elections should not be held during the ongoing conflict.
але ви, вся Україна, наші збройні сили.
NASA has opened applications for new astronaut candidates after a 4-year hiatus. With intense competition expected, reminiscent of 12,000 applicants for just 10 spots in 2020, the agency seeks individuals with background in piloting, medicine, and engineering. Excitement mounts as the United States gears up for lunar missions, reflecting a resurgence in public interest in space, influenced by shows like For All Mankind. Successful candidates will undergo 2 years of rigorous training in Houston, covering skills such as spacewalking and robotics. The position offers an annual salary of around $152,000 and entails extensive travel. The deadline for applications is the 2nd of April. X, the social media platform owned by Elon Musk, successfully defended against a lawsuit filed by 17 music publishers accusing it of copyright infringement. US District Judge dismissed most of the claims, ruling that X couldn't be held liable for direct or vicarious infringement. The publishers alleged that X allowed users to post music without permission, but the judge found that X merely provided a platform and was not responsible for policing content or obtaining copyright permissions. While 2 infringement claims were dismissed entirely, a third relating to policing verified users and infringers remained. The lawsuit seeks over $250 million in damages. OpenAI has refuted Elon Musk's claims of abandoning its original mission for humanity-driven AI. Musk filed a lawsuit against the company, alleging a breach of contract, asserting that OpenAI is now solely focused on profit. OpenAI clarified that Musk sought a merger with Tesla and control over the company, but disagreements arose over for-profit terms conflicting with the mission. Musk had initially published for a $1 billion funding commitment, but tensions escalated, leading to the lawsuit. OpenAI expressed disappointment in Musk's actions, citing his prior influence and subsequent opposition. Musk's lawsuit, it marks the climax of ongoing tensions as OpenAI garners significant funding and Musk launches his AI startup.